we are live. Hello, everyone. It's me, V. Oh, sorry. Hello, fellow Dolphin. It's me, V, back again with Papa G.
Hi.
We're glad to see you back. And today it's mainly figuring out more questions to ask Cloud when we finally get him slash her on the show. Also discussing some of the recent videos I did and how I can improve. And of course, your favorite part of this, watching us probably suck at Rocket League. So let's search for that. So, Papa G, how have you been?
I'm good. I recalibrated my controller before all this, so I'll be able to use the controller this time.
Very good. Yeah. Well, let's figure out how long that's going to last.
We'll see.
Then I suppose I can start this off by asking, with the most recent new Spider-Man game coming up, how do you think you'll be reacting to that one?
Say the question again?
The new Spider-Man game, do you think you'll be buying that one?
I don't know. If it's a PS5 exclusive, maybe not for a while. Because, I don't know when or if I'm gonna get a PS5. Maybe once some exclusives get, really piled up. But, if it's on the PS4, then probably. But if it's just a PS5 exclusive, then
Yeah.
I might get it eventually, but not on release day, because I'm not getting the PS5 on release day.
Well, I'm just hoping it's going to be an exciting game, personally.
I hope it's a good game as well.
I mean, for the most part, the protagonist is not all that exciting.
What?
Because the protagonist is kind of bland. And how did I blow up? I didn't even hit anything.
I don't think the video game Miles is that bad.
Well, he's just kind of boring.
Well, that's because I didn't really give him much to do.
Well, yeah, I mean, I get that he was a regular man, not Spider-Man in the first game, but even then he's kind of dull. Doesn't really do much. I mean, hell, Mary Jane does more than him, and that's really saying something with how insufferable she was in that game.
Well, we'll see. Anyway, I was gonna mention something, but now I completely forgot what it was.
Well, instead, just focus on the game and think about more questions for Cloud. You'll probably remember what you want to ask me anyway.
Yeah.
We're thinking of questions.
Oh, I think I have a good set of questions so far. Are there any types of questions? I think we have a good set of questions so far. Are there any types of questions you think we're missing?
More story related, or more how real life events would be reacted to. And considering what the character knows.
Let me think for a moment.
I mean, come on, a total riot in response to government brutality. When the person we're talking to is arguably kind of an eco-terrorist. I mean, look, come on, there's so much to go through for there.
Well, I don't really think Cloud himself would give much of a shit at that point, because he doesn't really care that much about current events, aside, at least at the start of the game. Early on in the game, doesn't care that much about it, except for, making money and whatnot, and taking things one day at a time.
Or at least what we'd think. I don't think of things to do with that.
Oh, I remember what I was gonna tell you, but it's a little off topic, so. I'll save it for in a bit.
At this point, just go with it. We tend to do best when we don't have a script.
Supposedly, I've read what The Last of Us 2's ending might be. Based off of some 4chan leaker, so, you know.
How cringe is it?
Sorry, take this as a grain of salt, because it might have come from 4chan, and obviously 4chan.
I'm highly unlikely to buy it anyway. Just go with it.
What I'm trying to say is that I could be bullshit, because 4chan is 50-50 with these leaks, but a number of people who supposedly got the game early supposedly acclaimed this. Either way, it's really kind of funny how dark and cringy it is. According to these supposed leakers, the game ends with like Ellie, with apparently Ellie and Abby fighting, her biting off some of her fingers, Ellie getting the upper hand, but choosing not to kill her because apparently she has some sort of flashback of Joel saying something, and I guess that convinces her not to do it. And supposedly, like, her girlfriend, Ellie's girlfriend, Dina, I think her name is, with her child, leaves Ellie and whatnot, so she's all alone. And she goes to play a guitar, and said she can't because her fingers needed to play the guitar were been off, and that's supposedly how the fucking game ends.
What? Kicked for being idle?
What?
I was kicked for being idle, apparently.
Shit. I mean, let me leave the match.
How was I idle?
That happened to me once, too.
I was driving. I was turning. Okay, you out? There we go. Oh, Rocket League, don't we love you?
So if that's true, what are your thoughts on that supposed ending?
Well, it goes into what I said about the stupid nihilist of it all. I mean, I don't really care much for stories like that, where the ending is, and the entire story was totally pointless. You shouldn't have done it. Well, what's fun about that?
That's weird. Yeah, it sounds like it might just be nihilism for the sake of nihilism. And here we go.
I mean, a sort of 9-point story can be done if it's done right. Like, for example, The Empire Strikes Back, which is a very tragic story that has a lot of events that just didn't have to happen. But Luke Skywalker decided to go with the events anyway. Now, the reason that worked, it's not just because of the shocking "I'm your dad" scene, it also set up the conflict for the next movie. And says there's gonna have to be a final conflict between these two. It wasn't the end.
That's the more and more I hear about it, the more and more that's why I wonder if it really is just nihilism for the sake of nihilism.
Mm-hmm.
Because I read from a review somewhere that, like, for the most part, you can avoid killing dogs in this game, but there's one scene where you kind of have to kill a dog, where it's like some forced QTE section, and like the dog dies in a very sad, violent way, and apparently later you get a flashback where you play with said dog you killed in a violent way, playing fetch and whatnot. If that seems really in the game, I'm just like laughing at this point because it's like sounding. At this point, it's sounding like little Timmy's edgy 13-year-old, little 13-year-old Timmy's edgy fanfic and whatnot.
Mm. Yeah. And come on, like, a game where you should not have done it, or you could have just stopped. I would say Spec Ops: The Line just did that so much better than Naughty Dog can. So stay away from that market, Naughty Dog.
Hey.
Mm. Although I suppose in Spec Ops: The Line's case, it's at least somewhat justified. The blame is placed squarely on you, not anyone else.
See, I feel like games that try to make the player feel like shit are best done when it's like you have a choice in the matter. But I feel like Undertale's Genocide is best for making you feel like shit because you don't have to do it. It's you're choosing to do this. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I feel like there are
that's kind of why Spec Ops: The Line is pretty good. I mean, the game tells you flat out you could have stopped numerous times. You chose to keep playing.
I haven't played Spec Ops: The Line, so like my problems with like, or my potential, I really need to play Spec Ops: The Line, so I could be talking about it my ass. My problems with games like Spec Ops: The Line, to me it rings a little more hollow when you really have no choice but to play the game that way, you know?
Mm. Well, you do have a choice. The choice was to just stop playing the game altogether. Especially when you know what's going to happen.
Well, can't you make that same argument for The Last of Us 2?
Yeah, you can choose not to play the game. I certainly won't. Oh, good shot.
Okay.
And it's probably similar to old Miles Morales game, as I probably won't play it until I see reviews of the story.
No.
Because in story, the character is just kind of boring. And that should be apparent from the fact barely anyone knew who he was until Into the Spider-Verse. Despite the fact the character was at least a decade old by that point.
Well, the character was decently known in comic book among comic fans.
Yeah,
Like,
but his
I knew-
comics barely sell.
No, I thought he's one of the few characters that's like from the diversity age of Marvel that's really well loved.
Take a look at the other diversity characters in Marvel. That's not a very high bar to meet.
The point is what I'm saying is I heard a lot of good things about Miles Morales before Spider-Verse.
Well, yeah, that's because he's a good character in comparison to all the other diversity characters in Marvel. But again, that's not really a high bar to meet.
Yeah, but I heard on his own he is still a good character. Like, compared to on his own merits, he's still a good character.
Mm.
And I would argue, based off of Spider-Verse, he is.
Yeah, but how many people even know much about him on their own?
I've talked to quite a few people who do.
I mean, hell, how many
think-
people know that he's not black, he's actually biracial? Very few, in all likelihood. They like the
Well,
idea of him. They don't really like him as a character. If you make him white, he's incredibly boring.
Are you saying you think he's a bad character?
Well, there's not really much of a character to him. I mean, he's over 10 years old from the time of Into the Spider-Verse, and there's next to nothing unique about him that doesn't involve Peter Parker. Well, it's like, you've had 10 years, show me something unique about this character that does not have to connect to the original Spider-Man.
Well, I disagree, but I don't really want to talk about it right now, so... Moving on.
I mean, come on, give me a reason to be interested, and I will be. So far, you haven't really shown me anything. I mean, maybe this
Spider-Verse-
game will. We'll see.
Spider-Verse gave you loads of reason to care about him.
That was Spider-Verse, not the actual comic books.
Am I going? Good job. You
Yeah.
scored. Anyway,
Okay, more.
I don't know what else I was gonna say. I totally forgot what I was gonna say.
I get some time. I'm thinking of some more questions in the meantime here.
Got to break.
And also trying to plan out how I'm going to do Resident Evil 7.
What about Resident Evil 7?
Last game I'm playing next. Didn't you see the video?
Oh. No. Like,
That-
are you talking about your play video, or?
Oh, yeah. Did you not see the end where I was talking about here's couples counseling the game?
I might have missed that part. Because I saw everything else, but I might have missed. See, I missed the very end, because I thought there was nothing else you were gonna say.
Mm.
So, oops.
Hey, just because I killed myself, that doesn't mean I'm not going to say anything else. Wow, that was a weird sentence. But anyway, just because I killed myself doesn't mean I'm not going to say anything else at the end.
Good point. I should have realized that.
Yeah, I mean, after this one, I'll go back to getting over it, but at the moment, I just need a break from that game. Yeah. Because I rode another man's snake, and I got fucked. Very obvious when I think about it. And on that, now that you know the actual lyrics to the song I was playing, what do you think of the video?
Pretty enjoyable, pretty funny.
Yeah, it puts a bit of a
Certainly,
different twist on it.
yeah, certainly does put quite the interesting twist.
Mm. That's the Japanese for you. They can make anything sound cute and entertaining. I can only imagine what the vocalist had to think when they were presented with the lyrics. Like, you really want me to sing this in a happy tone?
I remember all the lyrics and whatnot, because it's... let me get... Roll... I'm trying to get... I was trying to get the lyrics up again, because I was trying to remember a certain set of lyrics in the song, but I couldn't remember what they were.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to use my finger and like my mouse to scroll at the same time, so it's very difficult.
Mm-hmm. Your teammate scored. Solid A24.
Here we go. Yeah, very violent lyrics, and definitely probably fit what you were feeling at the time of.
Yeah. Well, here's the funny part. Some people have used that song to try and cure depressive episodes.
What?
Some people have used that song to get themselves out of depressive episodes. It's so upbeat.
Oh. Makes sense because when you don't know the lyrics, it does sound pretty upbeat.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that does. Just now wondering. Okay. If any criticisms at all, what would you have for that video?
Any criticisms?
Yeah, you can. We can probably get more questions to ask, just for the interview, just while we're thinking of criticisms for the video. I mean, there's bound to be some criticisms of it, so just hit me with them.
Can't think one out of the tip of my head, honestly. I thought it was pretty good and there was nothing really wrong with it. Surprised it didn't get more views. But, I guess, yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything.
Yeah, wait. This is when you're doing new kinds of content, it takes a while for it to get really noticed. Even if it is. Once it gets noticed, it gets noticed.
Yeah.
What's important is the engagement during the premiere. Even if it's only 2 people talking, it says a lot to YouTube. Oh wow, did I score that one? Oh yeah, I did. Okay, ooh, there.
Ugh. No, we're
Wait,
really in the lead
are we
right
actually
now.
gonna win this match?
Looks like it. Oh shit, I didn't realize there was only like less than 3 seconds left.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Soliday got the Trader Award this time. You didn't win it.
Yeah.
And I leveled up, whatever that means.
I don't know if this sword. Oh yeah, I don't know if this question was asked already yet, but you could ask Cloud, what's it like lugging around a massive sword?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, a minute. One of my alarms is going off. Be right back. I need to grab it. Be right back. Hello?
I'm here.
Sorry, my thing wasn't lighting up for a minute there.
Hmm. Now, I have to wonder now, with the next game coming up, are we going to be hearing from Genesis anytime soon? Due to
Who?
all the changes that have happened.
Who?
Genesis.
Oh, okay.
I mean, come on. We have Zack alive now. Why can't we see Genesis outside of Dirge of Cerberus?
Maybe we will.
Because if this remake means Dirge of Cerberus is never going to happen, I'm fine with that. Don't ever let Dirge of Cerberus happen, please. Don't. I mean, I'd say Dirge of Cerberus is almost, it's this incredibly good case study of how not to make a shooter Final Fantasy game.
I've heard of it. Based off your video as well.
Yeah, I mean, Episode Prompto is arguably better than that. It is, I mean, it's an unnecessary DLC, but instead, it's still good.
Sure, it's better than Dirge of Cerberus.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd rather forget about Dirge of Cerberus, and honestly, Square Enix themselves would also rather have people forget about Dirge of Cerberus.
That doesn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's not quite their Ride to Hell Retribution 1%, no. King's Knight still wins that award, but well... Yet I guess they're not so ashamed of that one anymore since they reference it in Final Fantasy 15.
Is it really Ride to Hell Retribution levels of bad?
Yeah. And I can say, with Ride to Hell Retribution, it's not buggy, but it is horrendously hard to the point of being flat out unfair. And I don't just mean, well, it's Nintendo hard in that there's a lot of things, design choices that just make no sense. For example, there's enemies you need to defeat with one character, but the character selection is completely randomized rather than the player being given control. And there's also entire things you need to do to win that you're never told about beforehand. And you're also never told what any of the symbols mean. I mean, I'm not really doing a good job doing it justice. You can look up a video on just how bad King's Knight is later. I'll send you one.
I appreciate it.
In fact, I think even Square Enix themselves know how bad that game is because there's no credits in it.
Really? Wow. I'm trying to think of what else to talk about, but I can't think of much at this moment.
For now, let's play a bit till we can think of more questions. I mean, that's like the rule of an interview. Always have more questions than you think you'll need.
I guess you might as well ask him, do you prefer Tifa or Eris? And you could have him say, no comment.
Mm. Yeah. Overtime. Okay, there's a few I thought of. I'll have to wait till we score again.
Say again?
There's a few.
I don't know if I asked this, but like, you could ask him, how do you do your hair?
We've asked something.
Okay. Can you think of anything?
I've got a few. Just wait until we score again to write them down.
Okay. That's fair. Sorry if I sound tired, I just didn't get much sleep last night. Whatnot.
Mm.
Pretty wide awake for the most part, but I just feel a little fatigued. And whatnot.
Nah, we're gonna lose. Okay.
We gave it a good fight. I'm really looking forward to the video. I think we got some good questions.
Mm-hmm. I wrote some other ones down over, and screw that guy. I wrote some other ones down during the break, so I'm sure I can find thinking more during this.
Yeah.
The only difficult part from there will be just getting the wig and the dress. The wig is simple, and also luckily eBay is very understanding. There's plenty of men out there that want to wear women's clothes, for one reason or another.
Well, not such isn't surprising. I mean, there's a lot of people who cross-dress and whatnot.
Yep. Online shopping has really benefited that market.
Certainly true.
It's especially important during this time in the current year. When even now there's still a great deal of lockdown. No, I missed that.
Oh?
I
thought you said you had the thought.
No, I was asking how did I miss that? It was right next to the ball.
Okay. I don't think I ever asked you this, but what do you think of the design of the PS5?
Design? I don't know, it looks like they grabbed some employee that was fired from Alienware and said make it designs a console that cools itself.
You don't like the look of it?
I think it's fine. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be a massive console. You can tell that just from, looking at how big the Blu-ray drive is and then just doing some measurements. So it's gonna be pretty tall, but there's a lot of vents into it. It's thin. It can cool itself well. I mean, it has that whole futuristic Alienware design, and I'm fine with that. That can work.
By the way,
yeah. I mean, if I were GameStop, I'd be shitting my pants right now. But besides that, I think it works pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel mixed about it. I kind of like it, and I like how it looks different, but it kind of looks a little off. But it doesn't look too bad. And I just remembered another thing I wanted to tell you. And it's a kind of a sad, more bad news for Google Stadia, and whatnot. Have you heard of the game, Gods and Monsters by Ubisoft?
No.
Well, it's a game that's supposedly Breath of the Wild and Assassin's Creed, apparently, and whatnot. And, an early gameplay demo, like an early gameplay demo of an earlier build of the game was accidentally leaked on, Google Stadia. And it's a version of the game that's much earlier in a much rougher state. Well, obviously it's not the version they wanted to have it be their first impressions of, and whatnot, but like, that was embarrassing. That was up for about half an hour and whatnot, and hundreds of people were able to take footage of, the gameplay and whatnot.
Yeah. can imagine Ubisoft was not very happy about that.
Probably. On top of that, it seems like Google Stadia can just not catch a break nowadays, or ever really.
Well, sometimes you make a bad product and you just gotta do the best you can with it.
Feel bad for Google Stadia. I hope I really do want there to be some.
Doesn't matter how good a company you are, unless if you make something nobody really wants, it ain't gonna do well.
Wait, Google's a good company?
If it's successful enough, then it's a good company.
Fair enough.
Regardless of how moral or ethical they are, if it's that successful, you don't get that successful without being good.
I don't understand how a company that successful in Google could have. Like, from what I understand, it happened due to the fact that they're apparently doing early testing for the game to see how well it ran and wouldn't run and whatnot, and I guess someone screwed up and whatnot. So that's a little embarrassing.
Well, it happens. And every now and then you'll get a product that nobody really wants, and you realize, oh shit, nobody wants this. Now what do I do? I mean, you ever heard of New Coke?
Yeah, I've heard of New Coke.
Exactly. I mean, a company like Coca-Cola, they cannot sell a product if nobody wants it. Which we saw right there.
Speaking of leaks, supposedly a new Kingdom Hearts game was sorta leaked.
Yeah. Hopefully it's a Kyrie game.
Apparently it's called Melody of something. I can't remember the last part of it.
Melody of Memories.
Melody of Memories. I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up. I hope it's not a mobile game. I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being a mobile game, since information was found, like data mined on the website for the mobile game. But who knows?
Well, I mean, I'd really not care so much about that. What I want to know is, when is Kingdom Hearts coming to PC?
No, yeah. I'm sure it'll happen sooner or later.
I mean, come on, Square Enix, we will buy. You saw Persona 4 sell like mad on the PC. We will buy if you put it on there. I mean, hell, I already play all your Kingdom Hearts games on PC anyway through emulation. The only one I don't is 4. Well, 3. I mean... Hello?
Right, I was thinking. To go off topic for a moment, and tell you one thing that bothers me in some reviews. It bothers me when in some reviews someone will like just kind of state a controversial opinion and just leave it at that, or don't go into it. Like, I was watching an older Persona 5 review that's now unlisted, but like in it, a guy who was like complaining about a certain scene. I can't remember what it was, but he said something like, "This scene like reminds me of a really shitty anime I watched when I was younger called Death Note. It's really shitty." He just left it at that and just continued with his review, and I'm like, what? You can't just say regular stuff like that and not expand upon it, you know what I mean?
And Death Note being a shitty anime? Really? There's a reason Death Note's as big as it was, to the point it broke into the West.
To be fair, that guy I don't think is like super huge into anime in the first place, so maybe that's.
Well, that's no excuse.
But my point is, I'm okay with people having those opinions like that. I just don't like when they just say it and don't back it up or anything, you know?
I mean, Death Note's incredibly popular because, despite being anime, it's actually as un-anime-like as it can be, within reason. It's set in a very realistic setting. I mean, it doesn't always get the science right, though there's a lot of things it gets really right about how people's minds work.
What do you mean by science?
Do you know what gasoline does to plastic?
No.
It eats plastic.
Okay, but what scene in Death Note involves gasoline and plastic?
Did you watch the show? Did you?
Yes, but it's been a while. I don't remember every single last detail of it.
Light's trap in his room where he hides the Death Note.
Oh, right. Right. Gotcha. Anyway,
Yeah, so Death Note,
but
yeah, they got that science wrong, but I can ignore that in favor of all the stuff it does really well.
well, it's just a tiny piece of plastic. It's not like a huge thing of plastic, if I remember correctly. And there are a few minor anime moments, like I think Misa's kind of like very anime-ish as a character.
Yeah, which is why Light can't stand her. That'd be one of the reasons.
She's definitely, Misa's definitely the most anime-ish thing about the show.
And then probably L, despite the fact he's technically British. And what else? I mean, okay, now, as cool as it is, I think we can both agree that the I'll take a potato chip and eat scene was a little too anime.
Oh, that, like, was that a scene? I seen that scene was, like, exaggerated in the anime.
Well, that was the point.
Yeah, well, like, that's what I mean and stuff, is that you can't really blame that on the source material, but it's something that the adaptation exaggerated.
At least they made it cool, though. I'll give it that. So Death Note, the anime was good, and then the Netflix adaptation, what were they thinking? At least they tried, I suppose.
The first half, to me, was at least entertainingly bad, because I had no idea where it was going. But then around the second half, I'm like, oh no, don't tell me you're gonna do exactly this, and this, and they did exactly this, and this.
Well, yeah, the second half of Death Note was always bad. Then again, to be fair, the author had no idea where Death Note was going either. He wrote it as he went along.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I mean, that was his entire writing style. Write the protagonist into a corner and then force him to think his way out.
Anyway,
And I'll be fair, it did work for quite a long time, but then they killed off the main character and he just kept on going. Well, main villain, and they kept on going.
Okay, I have to go to the bathroom for a minute, I'm sorry. Be right back, hopefully I don't get kicked.
What kind of online gamer are you? Okay. But hopefully he will not get kicked. You there? No, he's not. Anyway, okay, what's more questions to think of? Okay. Since Papa G is temporarily pissed off, what new things can we think about? Okay, what to think?
Back. Sorry about that.
I know you got kicked.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I just, when you have to go, you have to go.
I know, that's why you decide to go between games.
Yeah, well, I didn't have to go at all between games. It just suddenly came on me, you know what I mean?
Mm.
There was like 3+ minutes left, and I'm like, I can't wait. I tried to wait that long, but I couldn't wait that long.
Oh, I got the trader this time. I didn't realize I scored my own goal. Oh, wait. I'll exit to main menu. Okay, searching. And now once again we can stream with a VPN on. That's nice. I mean, if they were to sponsor us, I doubt that will anytime soon, but I'd say we are sponsored by ExpressVPN. Very good, reliable service. Are you not moving?
What?
I noticed your car wasn't moving.
No, I just didn't realize the match started yet. I thought it was still loading.
Okay, so I need to ask you, have you ever played Persona 4 before?
I'm sorry, what?
Did you play Persona 4 before?
Yeah, I played it before. It's a pretty
Well,
good game.
I never have, so I need your recommendation on that.
Yeah, it's a really good game. I think you'll like it.
Okay. I mean, now that's out, it's one of those things you gotta have. And there's a sale on Journey as well. I'll have to look into that one. I mean, that game on PC now, it has to run well. I mean, that game company did indeed know how to make games.
What were they called again?
That game company.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's actually their name.
I was confused for a sec. I know they're called that. I just didn't connect in my brain that that's what you were referring to.
Again, that's just them. They've always been good at making those games that, well, if anyone says games are not art, you can just show them one screenshot of one of their games, and they're like, okay, say they're not art now. And Persona 4, we'll have to see after Resident Evil 7.
Yeah, definitely recommend Persona 4 Golden. Pretty great game overall.
Yeah.
There's some minor issues here and there.
What kind of minor issues?
One of the new characters they added for Golden is not like great. She's not like a painfully awful character, but she's kind of like a basic.
She's there. Then that's
What?
all. She's kind of there, and that's all you can say about her.
No, not that. It's more of just like she's a kind of a big part of her character is that she's a tsundere and whatnot. And like there's technically a little bit more to her character than that, but like there's a lot of like I don't like you, Baka, and whatnot, and that's like over and over again. It's kind of a little bit eye rolling to me.
Mm-hmm. Can they not just do a tsundere with just a little bit of character to them? Or probably it's a defense mechanism for something else. I mean, come on, that would be a lot better.
Argue that it is due to the fact that she's kind of an amnesiac and whatnot. Like I don't want to spoil too much, so
Okay.
point is it's a really good game and I would recommend it.
Got it. Maybe soon Persona 5 will come out.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, they'll release the full Catherine game for PC.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, Atlas. Releasing the classic game and then releasing a superior version for the PS4, that was a total dick move. Why'd you do that?
I don't know, maybe they want to preserve the original and whatnot.
Yeah, I guess the original is preserved. And it does run a lot better on PC now. I mean, come on, still. You have to look at the way they did that. That was a real dick thing to do. But at least they released Persona 4. And they did release the full Catherine game for the Switch now.
Yeah.
Now we just need
body
Persona
game.
5 on PC officially.
Yeah.
I mean, right now pretty much everyone emulates it. You know you do. So at this point, Atlas, you might as well put it on the PC anyway and make money.
Well, Persona 4 Golden is selling super well on the PC, so I'm sure it inevitably will have more entries to PC.
Yeah.
This means also the larger Shin Megami Tensei series will also be brought to PC at one point.
Also means Final Fantasy VII Remake is likely going to PC as well. And possibly the Kingdom Hearts series. So at this point, Square Enix cannot have this whole exclusivity agreement excuse with Sony because it went to the Xbox as well.
Yeah.
There's to be some other reason.
Yeah, and I don't know what it could be.
Yeah, I mean, they can't even use the whole, well, we're not sure there's a lot of JRPG lovers on PC. I mean, look at everything that's sold well so far.
Yeah. There's clearly like an audience for that sort of stuff.
Yep. Oh, we won.
But yeah, we did. think I'll go one more match, and then I'll probably sign off for the night. Is that okay?
Alright.
Well, maybe we'll do more. We'll see. I just don't have much more to talk about, so. Ready.
Mm-hmm. I suppose we can take a moment to reflect on just how far we've come.
Come.
Yeah, the very first stream on, I think, was it Team Fortress 2?
Yeah.
We talked about Shadow of the Colossus being made by Bluepoint. And now
Yeah.
Demon Souls is being remade by it.
Yeah, things certainly do come full circle.
Mm-hmm. And now we're starting to move into doing live content now. With flat out interviews. Yes. Hopefully the kind of stuff that's way better than that whole illustrated fanfiction thing we once tried. Mm-hmm. And on another note, you're no longer nervous talking on a microphone now.
Yeah, I'm a lot more calm, especially considering the fact that we've done this so much.
Yeah. I mean, you're no longer useless at technology. There was that.
Yeah, and I learned a bit about how to edit, so that's a useful skill to have.
And it's a far cry from the person who was once so useless at Discord I had to take a screenshot and tell him click where my cursor is to talk to someone.
Sorry, I'm bad with new things. I have to be taught, you know. I'm really bad with tab. I've always been bad with computers and whatnot.
But how could you be bad with computers in this day and age? I mean, being somewhat capable with a computer, that's kind of a necessary skill.
I'm good with the bare basics. I'm good with the bare basics of computers. I'm just like bad with some like dealing with new programs and whatnot that I've never done before.
Something we have to learn. Learning how to use the full vocal range of your voice to be more engaging on camera, that's also something I've had to learn. Especially if you're doing Let's Play content, you probably noticed some of that in the last video.
What again?
Using the full range of your voice.
Yeah, I definitely did notice that.
Keeps people's attention. And also knowing what boring parts to cut out and when to jump into a montage. Though looking back, I'm not sure I did that the best. I tried to edit to the music. It was a little too quick for my tastes. So what would you think of that part? Was it a little too quick, or did I have the right idea?
Involving which scene? Involving the montage scene?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought it fit pretty well. Pretty fitting music, especially lyrics-wise, and it was definitely a good time to use it, considering like it was a lot of the same thing over and over again.
I cut out a lot of that footage, believe it or not. So I did a ton of footage where it's just me trying to get up that bucket. I mean, I probably could have done the whole song, but just did not have enough patience to edit all that. It's like my hatred for Bennett Foddy was even going into my editing. Man, we're getting destroyed.
Okay, here what kind of bothers me
Hmm?
about a lot of like I hate the X fan base videos. You know those types of videos?
Yeah.
I always kind of find my problem with it is oftentimes it's like there are exceptions. There are some that talk about like problems and like a large number of people do, but a lot of times it'll just be look at this cherry picked example of this person being part of this fandom doing something stupid and whatnot. See how bad it is, and it's just like I mean I find that annoying because I'm like I could literally do that with any group of people to make them look bad, you know.
Well, you got a cherry pick or you got to generalize. It's one or the other.
Cool. That's what I mean. They like cherry pick certain people, and they'll use that to say, like, see, look how bad this entire fan base is. You know?
Well, if you generalize, people can just scream, exceptions to every rule. Even though it doesn't stop the generalization. But if you cherry pick, well, even if you say, well, we're not all like that, you can say, but this person exists. That's an airtight example of you acting this shitty way. That's why they would do it. I mean, with me, I don't really care. I can generalize. If someone says, well, not all, my question is, does that defeat the general rule? No. Then why'd you bring it up? That usually shuts people up. So since you brought it up, are there any fandoms that you personally hate? Are you not into that? Hello?
There's no fan base I don't think there's any fan base I flat out hate, because I don't think, like, the jerks represent the majority and whatnot. I guess there's a few certain groups that I can kind of find annoying a bit and whatnot.
Okay.
Like, I guess, like, not everyone, but like, there's certain parts of, like, the Shin Megami Tensei, franchise. There's some Shin Megami Tensei fans that are kind of like to shit on Persona a lot, because it's, like, more popular and whatnot, and, like, not as good as their games. And I don't know, I guess, like, there are, like, I've seen some videos about Shin Megami Tensei fans, like, shitting on, talking about the Persona fan. Like, recently, I saw a video about a guy who's a big into Shin Megami Tensei, kind of talking about some more toxic Persona fans. And there are some good points in it and whatnot. My problem was, like, them, like, he said some at one point that, you know, the Shin Megami Tensei guys aren't that bad. Although I will admit, maybe I don't notice it as much because I'm not as keen into all the activities in it. And I'm just like, well, kind of exposed your hypocrisy there a bit, didn't you? Because, like, I feel like I could play that in any card. Like, I could be like say I could easily say, oh, I didn't realize this was happening in the Persona fanbase because I wasn't keyed into it all, or just I don't know. I guess I just feel like The more you dig and dig, the more you're gonna find what you want to look, because the internet's a big place and there's a lot of unique people out there.
Mm-hmm.
And just, I don't
Yeah,
know.
you'll find a lot of weird people.
And I'm not saying there aren't weird Persona fans out there. There's some pretty creepy or weird or annoying Persona fans.
Mm-hmm.
As the more and more I get older, the more and more I kind of prefer. Like, this is gonna sound weird, but I kind of prefer normies more than more than like I like elitists and whatnot, because it's like normies can be annoying in the sense of they don't know what they're talking about, blah blah blah. But like, typically normies are more accepting of your opinion in my experience, where like elitists a lot of time will be like, oh, you like X, Y, or Z, you must be an idiot, or you must not have good taste, blah blah blah. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I just want to like shit, you know?
Well, you can only like something if you don't like something else. That's just the sad reality of it.
Say it again.
You can only like something if you don't like something else.
And like that's fine and whatnot. So I'm just like, I just don't
No.
like when people take it to the next level and start psychologically examining why people like it. Like, oh, they must like it because they don't care enough, or they don't this or that, or blah blah blah. You know, like if someone likes The Last of Us 2 and whatnot, like I don't care. Like, sure, like it all you want. Tell me why you like it.
Mm.
We gotta get into an argument.
It's
I'll
like
debate you
if you
about
want to have bad taste, by all means, you have it.
it. Maybe.
It's a free
I
market.
accidentally-
People can have bad taste if they want. I just don't have to
It's
buy it.
just maybe. First off, I accidentally scored our own goal, so oops.
We all do
But
it. Don't worry.
maybe I'm biased in this case because like I was made fun of for liking Yu-Gi-Oh at one point by some guys and whatnot. Like, oh, you're into Yu-Gi-Oh? That's a stupid kids thing and whatnot, you know?
Yeah, it was a cool show though.
Oh, they didn't think so. And like they didn't bully me, but they sort of just are like, oh, Yu-Gi-Oh's gay or Yu-Gi-Oh's blah blah blah. And I'm like, maybe it was. I mean, some ways Yu-Gi-Oh's gay. They certainly have a lot of hot men and whatnot that give each other fuck me eyes and whatnot.
Mhm.
And for those of you saying
Yeah,
I'm wrong,
yeah, but
go
it
look.
also started the Dark Magician Girl fandom.
Yeah. I mean, like, come on, Kaiba and Yuki's relationship is a totally sort of a tsundere relationship and whatnot. But like, anyway, in all seriousness, it's just I don't know. I guess just it really made me sort of question my likes for a bit and whatnot, and like it almost made me get out of Yu-Gi-Oh simply because people were sort of making fun of me for liking it, and I feel like I don't know, that's not the way to do it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, if
Am I
anything, you should.
really?
Am I what?
I don't know. Maybe something's just wrong. Maybe I'm just traumatized because like I was not betrayed, but like kind of teased and like hurt by some people who I trusted in the past. So I've become a lot more sensitive and whatnot
Mm,
because of that.
okay. Well, that means like what you like. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah. Hmm.
If you like Boku no Pico, hey, more power to you.
I've only like there are very few things where I'd be like I question people for liking it. Like obviously if it was like a fucking ISIS beheading and you get joy from that, that's where I'm like, you may have some problems, dude.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's like an extreme situation.
There's lots of really varied, weird tastes out there, unfortunately.
Like there's some members of the Shin Megami Tensei, not saying all, like a select few members who I think like are a little jealous because like to them Shin Megami Tensei is a lot better and it doesn't have the same popularity as Persona and whatnot. And like it's fine to have that opinion, but I've seen some thereby go and be like, "Oh, Persona fan base that group sucks and whatnot," and I'm like, I don't know. Sorry, your series isn't as popular.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'd rather a series stay niche personally than get popular. The moment normal people start liking it, it takes away from the fun of it. Now it's no longer special. It's just normal. That'd be another one. There's this Cloud. What would you think of Dirge of Cerberus? His answer could be like, we don't talk about that game.
That's fun. Like I guess having sounds like a good idea.
In fact, I could probably blame I don't blame Vincent, but I want to talk about that game. Especially at some of the really creepy implications at the end. Damn you, Blue Wolf.
League is pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're definitely losing. But at least we gave it our
Part of the
shot.
experience. And all I have to think about now is, what's it called? I think Project Althea. I think that's what it's called and what that's going to be like. Or even where the next Final Fantasy VII is going to go. Means there is it's been confirmed now there is a timeline where Zack's alive, so how is that gonna play with the next one?
That's a good question. I'm not even gonna touch my controller now because like once the 1 second, there's only literally 1 second up left.
Yeah.
Congrats, Blue, you beat us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One more match then. I keep forgetting, was there any other games that were shown by the PS5 that you were interested in?
Well, I mentioned Sackboy. I mentioned. I mean, I can't remember their names, but there are some cinematic trailers for some interesting things.
How about
But
Stray?
what? Oh
Stray.
yeah, like Stray seems interesting. That space game looks interesting. And that game where there's an astronaut on Earth looks interesting, but like all of that showed no gameplay, so I don't really have much opinions on it.
The fact the first Nier was coming to PC, I believe. That was one.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad that Automata had to come to PC first, but you know, better late than never.
Yeah. Yeah. Good job.
I don't know how I pulled that off. Okay. Okay, so I'm there. Then bounce off the wall, and some blue car hits it, and it. Well, another blue car hits it, and it goes in. Okay. Oh. Yeah, missed.
We're winning right now.
Yeah, that's new. They don't this. I just hope they don't bring Chadley back for Final Fantasy VII too.
Who knows? Nobody knows.
I mean, maybe some people liked him, but I just could not stand him. Who knows, man? When you play it, you'll like him. No, I scored. There you go, I've done it too. Let's draw. And now I think we have 23 questions. Which is, oddly enough, the same number of little wishes Aerith has in Crisis Core. What do you know? What a coincidence. Now just have to go read them all and think of answers for them. That sound believable. Unless you want to do some.
Do some of what again?
As I just said, I'm going to have to go and try to make answers to these questions that sound believable, unless you want to do some.
I think you know Cloud better than I do. I probably would get a bit too liberal with it.
Okay, then you'll have a chance to review everything when I'm done.
Sounds good. I'll definitely review it and give you notes on whether I think certain things are good or not.
Will do. Okay, decision to that. I'm trying to run through anything else I would need. So,
Got it covered. So you just think after this match is done, we should probably sign off because I don't know what else we have to talk about.
yeah, that. Yeah, I was thinking of what else I would need. Let's see. Okay, questions. Got that. Just write the answers. Necessary wig dress. And possibly look at some makeup lessons on YouTube. That should be it. Unless you can think of anything else.
No, not at the moment.
Okay, and I'll also watch some London Reels so we can have a good format to follow. If you haven't seen them before, you should. It's a very good interview level podcast. They do a good job on that one.
Video is it called again?
London Reel YouTube channel. It's a interview style podcast. They do a really good job of it.
Okay, I'll be sure to check it out.
It's especially good because they're not afraid to tackle some really controversial topics, so YouTube has been on their ass lately.
Like what?
Coronavirus, 5G. In fact, this video is probably going to be banned for me saying those words.
Gotcha.
And even the sexual health of men. It was like they really go into some awkward things.
Interesting.
And at one point, I believe they've also talked about what happens in Hollywood, and they also had Jordan Belfort on the podcast at one point.
Interesting.
Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street. Okay, that's a good channel you should look at for how to tell good interview questions and how to do a podcast that way. So that one I recommend you look into.
So the Real London Project and what?
No, London Real. That's the name of the channel.
London Real and what was the other one?
No, it's just that one.
Okay. Hey, I'm
Okay.
probably gonna head out now.
Yeah, we both have our homework. So I'll head out. Oh, I got a pinwheel.
A lot of fun, but we're out of time. It was great talking to you, and remember everyone to stay safe during these
No,
trying...
you should also remember, everyone, don't ride another man's snake. You'll feel the pain.
I don't know what that's a reference to.
Getting over it.
I remember now.
Really, he was there with me watching it, and he still didn't get it. Anyway, thanks for staying with us, everyone.
No, I remember it now. It took me a second to process. I'm sorry, I'm a bit of an idiot. Anyway.
So don't ride the snake. It's a mistake.